My beloved child, listen deeply within the silence of your soul, for I am calling you into a new season that you have never fully understood before. It is not a season built upon fear or barren days, but a season of restoration, where my light slips through every crack within your heart to awaken and bring into bloom the things you once believed had fallen asleep forever. I did not lead you through so many roads merely for you to stand endlessly before closed doors. I am the one who makes a way in the wilderness and causes rivers to flow through dry places. As I declared in book of Isaiah 43:19, Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? At the very moment when you think you no longer have the strength to hope, I quietly kindle within you a new flame, gentle yet impossible for any darkness of this world to extinguish. There have been nights when you lay down with weary eyes, carrying within yourself questions no one else could hear. You wondered whether the prayers you whispered in loneliness truly reached me. But my child, I have treasured every sigh that escaped your heart. Not a single tear has fallen without my notice. I have seen the moments when you tried to appear strong while inside you were nearly shattered. And it was in those very days that I was secretly building within you a foundation that nothing could shake. What I am preparing for you is not meant for a soul that has never been refined. So do not mistake delays as signs that I have forgotten you. Some seeds must remain hidden beneath the soil for a season before they rise into a radiant harvest. Ecclesiastes declares that to everything there is a season. I am never late in your life. I am bringing all things into their most beautiful, appointed time. Remember the story of the Shunammite woman. She opened the doors of her home to the prophet Elisha during the most ordinary days, never realizing that her quiet hospitality was opening the way for a miracle in her future. When her only son fell lifeless and despair covered her household, she still refused to let sorrow destroy her faith. She ran to the man of God with a quiet yet unshakable trust, and I caused the breath of life to return to that child once again. Do you see? My child, my goodness often arrives after the moment when hope appears to have died completely. I allow certain dry seasons not to destroy you, but to teach you that true life is not found in circumstances, but in me alone. When you continue to hold on to faith during the days when you cannot see anything, that is when heaven is moving most powerfully on your behalf. So do not keep searching for my signs only in the spectacular and overwhelming things. I often come in gentleness. I am present in the moment when your heart suddenly finds peace in the middle of chaos. I am in the loving eyes of someone I send at the exact moment you are weary. I am in the small door that opens when every other path is closed. Elijah once expected to find me in the mighty wind, the earthquake, and the fire. Yet in the end, he discovered me in the still small voice. That is how I am coming to you as well. Not with force, not to terrify you, but gently drawing your soul closer to true peace. My signs do not leave your spirit in confusion. They bring rest to your heart. And when that stillness begins to grow within you, you will know that I am very near. My beloved child, perhaps you do not yet realize that I have been preparing you for a very long time. Every trial you have overcome, every time you rose again after disappointment, every lonely season you walked through has been shaping you for what is ahead. I do not want you merely to receive blessings only to lose them because you were not ready to carry them. I am enlarging your heart so it can hold abundance without becoming proud. Remain tender enough to keep loving even after being wounded, and become wise enough to recognize that every good thing comes from my hand. Epistle to the Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God." Even the days when you believed you had lost your way can still be transformed by me into part of the journey, leading you exactly where I have destined you to be. Do not be afraid when you see everything around you changing. There are doors I have closed to protect you from what was never meant for you. There are relationships I have allowed to drift away because I know your soul needed healing before stepping into what is new. And there are dreams I have delayed, not because I have rejected you, but because I desire to give you something greater than what you once asked for. Trust that my hand has never ceased working in your life. Like a shepherd walking ahead of his flock, I am leading you through every turn your eyes cannot yet see. Book of Psalms 32:8 says, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. Therefore, instead of allowing fear to guide you, let faith carry you forward. And the day will come when you look back and understand that nothing was ever random. The encounters, the delays, the tears, and even the moments that felt like loss were all being woven together by my hands into a complete masterpiece. The goodness I promised you is not meant only for you to enjoy alone. I will make your life become living water for other weary souls. The healing I place within you will teach you how to lift up those who are hurting. The peace I pour into your heart will become a light for those who are wandering in darkness. And then you will understand that the greatest purpose of blessing is not for you to keep it for yourself, but for my love to continue flowing through you into this world. So today, my beloved child, stop looking at your life through eyes filled with anxiety. Lift up your head and walk in the restful confidence of faith. I am before you, opening paths you have never seen before. I am causing dry lands to bloom in their appointed season. I am illuminating your future with a light no darkness can ever consume. And when your heart begins to feel a deep peace spreading within you like a gentle river flowing through your soul, know that it is not merely a passing emotion. It is my voice whispering to you, the good things have already begun. My beloved child, do not rush after the loud noises of this world and forget that my voice often speaks in the deepest and quietest places within your soul. There are times when I do not answer with thunder or with things that astonish human eyes, but with a stillness that allows your heart to rest. Therefore, before you search for signs outside yourself, learn to turn inward and let your spirit become quiet before me. Let your worries fall from your shoulders like leaves releasing from branches at the end of a season. And let your restless thoughts dissolve like mist touched by the morning sun. It is in that secret place that I place my words into your heart, like cool water flowing gently through land that has long been dry. Book of Psalms 46:10 declares, Be still and know that I am God. When you stop resisting through fear and stop trying to control everything with your own strength, you will begin to hear the gentle rhythm of heaven leading your steps. Do not assume that my signs will always appear in the ways you imagine. Sometimes you long for a mighty miracle to tear open the heavens, while I place before you a small but steady peace, strong enough to hold your heart firm in the middle of the storm. Sometimes you wait for a massive door to swing open, while I begin instead with a tiny ray of light in your mind, a quiet thought that gently lets you know which direction to follow. I do not desire to raise within you a dependence upon dazzling things. I want your spiritual eyes to mature enough to recognize me, even in the most ordinary moments. Remember Samuel as a child in the temple. In the silence of the night, I called his name not with a roaring voice, but with a familiar and gentle whisper, so soft that Samuel thought it was Eli calling him. And from that very small moment, a life set apart for me began. Do you see? My child, the greatest things in my hands often begin with the quietest call. I am also teaching you to recognize my guidance through moments that seem ordinary or accidental. A word of encouragement arriving exactly when you were about to give up. An unexpected meeting carrying the answer to a prayer you had never spoken aloud to anyone. A door opening gently without you forcing or striving for it. These things are not meaningless coincidences. I am quietly arranging every piece around your life so you may understand that my hand has never left you. Book of Proverbs 3:6 says, In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. When I lead you, you do not need to live in panic. True guidance from me always carries clarity and peace. It does not suffocate your soul, but slowly frees you from the burden of trying to carry everything alone. My beloved child, there are seasons when I intentionally slow you down so you may learn the rhythm of grace. If I allowed everything to happen instantly, according to your desires, perhaps you would begin to believe that your own strength accomplished it all. But in the waiting, I teach you dependence. In the days that seem motionless, I am quietly preparing both you and the very things I have promised to give you. Remember Habakkuk, who stood upon the watchtower during days when nothing appeared to change. Yet I spoke to him and said, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come." I am speaking the same truth over you now. What I have ordained for your life cannot be lost because of time. No season of delay can destroy what I wrote for your life from the very beginning. And there will come a moment when you realize that everything has been fitting together in a wondrous way. The things that once confused you will suddenly become clear. The paths that once remained closed will open at the exact moment you are mature enough to walk through them. I do not care only about giving you what you ask for. I also care about preparing your heart to be strong enough to carry it without losing tenderness and humility along the way. Therefore, when you feel your soul being covered by a quiet hope, do not treat it lightly. It is not a fragile emotion that appears and disappears. It is my breath touching your spirit. Epistle to the Romans 15:13 declares, "Now the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing. My peace does not make you passive. It makes you strong without striving, and allows you to keep moving forward without fear pulling you backward. Learn to be grateful, even for the smallest signs. A morning when you wake up with a lighter heart than yesterday is already a sign that I am healing you. A day when the past no longer chains you as it once did is a sign that I am setting you free. A moment when you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness is evidence that heaven is working within your life. Do not despise quiet beginnings, for even the smallest mustard seed in my hands can become a great tree where many find shelter. I do not require you to understand everything right now. I only ask that you continue walking with me with a trusting heart. So today, my beloved child, let your soul rest in my guidance. Do not run ahead of the time I have appointed, but do not hesitate out of fear either. Walk according to the rhythm I am planting within your heart, the rhythm of peace, of faith, and of unwavering hope. I am bringing you closer to the very things I have promised. And when the fullness of time arrives, you will look back and realize that every small sign along this journey was a lamp I placed before you, leading you into the good things I had prepared beforehand for your life. My beloved child, I do not place signs before you so that you may become dependent upon emotions or endlessly wait for another proof from heaven. I place them along your path like small lamps in the middle of the night, so that when your heart grows weary, you will remember that I am still walking beside you. True faith does not grow merely through seeing, but through your willingness to continue walking after recognizing my gentle call. Just as a fire needs more wood to keep burning brightly, your soul is strengthened each time you respond to my guidance with acts of love and obedience. Therefore, when I place within your heart a quiet prompting, do not leave it hidden in your thoughts until time carries it away. Act upon it, even if only through one very small step. Perhaps it is an apology you have delayed for far too long. Perhaps it is a conversation that could heal a relationship that has begun to fracture. Perhaps it is opening your hands to help someone who is exhausted without needing anyone else to notice. These things may appear small in the eyes of the world, but in my eyes, they are doors through which grace begins to flow more powerfully into your life. I have never required you to understand the entire journey before taking a step forward. If I showed you everything from the beginning, Perhaps you would walk by the confidence of your own reasoning rather than by trust in me. That is why I only give you enough light for the next step. Book of Psalms 119, 105 says, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path." Notice this carefully. My child, a lamp for your feet, not for the whole road ahead. I want you to learn how to hold my hand one day at a time. When you remain faithful in small things, I will open greater things at the appointed moment. A sower does not stand in the field demanding to see the harvest in the same instant the seed is planted. He bends down and sows each seed in hope. You must walk in the same way. Every act of obedience is a seed planted into the soil of your future. And, in my season, you will see the fields of your life covered with fruit and blossoms. Remember Naaman, the commander who expected me to heal him through a magnificent display of power. He waited for something dramatic and almost missed his healing because I simply asked him to do one ordinary thing: go down to the Jordan River and wash 7 times. What opened the way for the miracle was not spectacle, but obedience. And when he humbled himself and obeyed, his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child. Do you see? My child, I often hide great power within very ordinary steps to teach you that what transforms your life is not outward excitement, but a heart willing to trust and follow my voice. Therefore, do not ignore the gentle promptings I place within your spirit. When you feel led to pray for someone, pray. When your heart is drawn toward forgiveness, do not delay. When I awaken within you the desire to begin something good, do not let fear keep you standing still. The Epistle of James says that faith without works is dead. Yet I do not say this to place a burden upon you. I say it so you may understand that true faith always creates movement. It causes you to step forward with gentleness, yet with steadfastness. And every time you walk according to the light I give you, you will discover the peace within your soul growing like rising waters after a gentle rain. That peace is not weakness. It is the tender strength of heaven covering your mind and heart. My beloved child, I am also teaching you how to discern between my voice and the voice of fear. My voice does not drive you into chaos. My voice does not cause you to lose kindness or peace. When I lead you, your soul will be drawn into the light of love, gratitude, and humility. Epistle to the Galatians 5:22 speaks of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness. If what you are receiving causes these things to grow within you, then know that I am very near. But if something pulls your heart into bitterness, pride, and confusion, stop and return to stillness before me. I am not the author of confusion. I am the source of light. There will be moments when you notice the same gentle message appearing repeatedly around your life. A verse of scripture returning to you while you pray. A stranger unexpectedly speaking the very words your soul needed to hear. An opportunity to serve opening at the exact right moment. This is how I confirm direction for you. I often use many small streams to form one clear river within your heart. For I know you are fragile and need to be strengthened step by step. I do not condemn you when fear or doubt rises within you at times. But I want you to learn how to return to my word whenever your mind begins to waver. My word will become the anchor that keeps you steady in the middle of a stormy sea. My child, do not wait until everything is perfect before you begin to move forward. If a builder stood staring at a pile of stones, waiting to see the entire house already completed, he would never lay the first brick. I only ask you to offer me one sincere yes today. The rest, I will guide. I will place each stone along the path of your life one by one. And then one day, when you look back, you will realize that every small step you once thought insignificant was actually part of the road, leading you directly into the good things I prepared for you from the very beginning. So today, Continue walking in the gentleness of faith. Do not rush ahead, yet do not shrink back either. I do not drive you forward through fear. I lead you gently through grace. Keep your heart soft toward my voice. Keep your eyes illuminated by my word. And keep your hands ready to do good. For the more closely you walk with me, the more clearly you will see that the good things are no longer far away. They are already moving around you, opening doors before you, and waiting for you to step into them with a heart full of trust and peace. My beloved child, some of the most sacred things I do are not accomplished in the noise of cheering crowds, but in the hidden place where only you and I know what is happening. It is there, when your soul stops searching for recognition from the world, that I begin healing the deepest places within your heart. I have seen the evenings when you sat quietly with weary eyes, the moments when you sighed without being able to form words, the times when you simply looked toward heaven and whispered one small prayer, Father, please help me. And my child, not one of those words disappeared into empty space. Every silent cry from your heart has touched me like a gentle fragrance rising before the throne of grace. Book of Psalms 56:8 says, Put thou my tears into thy bottle. Do you see? Even the things the world considers weakness within you, I hold as treasures. There have been seasons when you believed your life was standing still, while in truth, the roots of your faith were growing deeper into the soil of my presence. A great tree does not first grow by what people see above the ground, but by the roots quietly gripping the hidden depths beneath it. I am doing the same within your soul. I bring you into quiet places, not to abandon you, but to teach you how to live by my strength instead of by the applause of people. For if you are only strong when you are seen, you will quickly fall when you must walk alone. But when you learn to praise me, even in the secret room, when you remain faithful, even when no one notices, you are becoming far stronger than you realize. Remember David during the years when he was still tending sheep in the wilderness, before an entire nation knew his name. I already saw a young shepherd quietly singing beneath the night sky, fighting lions and bears with no human witness beside him. There was no crown, no throne, no cheering crowds, only me and him among the lonely fields. Yet it was in that hidden place that I shaped the heart of a king. My beloved child, I am doing the same within you. The hidden victories of today will become the strength of tomorrow. Every time you choose forgiveness in silence, every time you continue praying without yet seeing an answer, every time you quietly help someone else without needing recognition, all of it is being remembered before me. Do not think that the tears you once shed were meaningless. I am turning them into streams of water that nourish the fields of hope within your life. Some prayers are not answered immediately, not because I have failed to hear them, but because I am preparing something far greater than you can imagine. Look at Hannah long ago, the woman who wept deeply in the temple because of the pain of her barrenness. Others saw only her tears, but I saw a faith that refused to die. And from that very hidden sorrow, I gave Israel the prophet Samuel, a man who would shape the destiny of an entire nation. Do you see? My child, I am able to transform the places that once wounded you most deeply into the very places where what is holy and beautiful is born. My child, I treasure the moments when you still choose gratitude, even while you do not fully understand what is happening. When you offer me thanksgiving even in seasons of waiting, heaven is moved by such faith, for it is easy to praise when miracles have already appeared. But it is precious when a soul remains tender during days when nothing seems to change. Epistle to the Hebrews 11:1 declares, Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I am teaching you to live by that certainty, not a certainty rooted in circumstances, but in my own faithful nature. There are things you are doing today that may seem very small, yet they are opening the way for good things far greater than you realize. A quiet prayer of intercession for another person. A simple act of kindness that no one notices. A decision to keep moving forward even when your heart is weary. I see all of it, and I never forget the seeds planted in genuine love. Epistle to the Galatians 6:9 reminds you, "Let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not." I know there are times when you long to see results immediately, but the one who plants seeds does not dig into the soil every day to check whether they have sprouted. He trusts the season appointed by the Creator. You must learn that same rest in me, and the day will come when I open before you doors that no one can shut. The prayers you thought had disappeared into silence will suddenly bloom before your eyes. The seasons of hidden faithfulness will be transformed into visible strength. Yet the most beautiful thing will not simply be the blessings you receive. The most beautiful thing will be the realization that through every season of testing, you have become more like me. Your soul will become gentler, your eyes more compassionate, and your heart more capable of loving deeply than ever before. So today, my beloved child, continue returning to the secret place with me. Do not take lightly those quiet moments when it is only you and me together in stillness. It is there that I am pouring fresh oil upon your soul, healing wounds no one else can see, and preparing you for what I promised long ago. Let your heart rest beneath my hand. Let my peace cover your mind like the gentle light of the early morning. And believe this, even when the world cannot yet see what is happening, my good things have already begun to take root in the deepest places of your life. My beloved child, I want you to learn how to look back upon your journey, not through the eyes of anxiety, but through the light of gratitude. There are things I have done for you so gently that you have easily forgotten them. There were moments when I quietly closed a door you desperately wanted to walk through, and only much later did you realize that my refusal had protected you from sorrow. There were ordinary days when you thought nothing significant was happening, yet my hand was covering you from dangers your eyes could not see. Therefore, my child, learn to keep a book of remembrance within your heart, a place where you record the footprints of grace I have placed along your path. Write down the small joys I send unexpectedly in the middle of weary days, the words of encouragement that arrive at the perfect time, the moments when peace settles over your soul, even though your circumstances have not yet changed. When you look back, you will realize that I have never left your side for even a single moment. Long ago, I taught Israel to build memorial stones after crossing the Jordan River, so that whenever the people saw them, they would remember that I had made a way through the deep waters for them. I want you to carry such stones of remembrance within your soul as well. Not so you may live forever in the past, but so that whenever your heart grows weak, you will remember that the God who once delivered you is still walking beside you today. Book of Psalms 103 says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits." Forgetfulness is what causes many hearts to slowly grow cold. People often remember pain more easily than mercy, and focus more on what they still lack than on the blessings already surrounding them each day. But when you learn to remember my faithfulness, hope will continue burning like a lamp that never goes out in the middle of a long night. The secret place with me is like a room found by a weary traveler after a long and exhausting journey. There, you do not need to force yourself to appear strong or try to prove anything. You only need to come as you truly are with all your weariness, your question, and even the parts of your heart that are still unhealed, and I will renew you. Book of Isaiah 40:31 declares, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength." Do you know, my child, there are strengths that cannot be found in noisy crowds, yet they are born quietly in stillness before me. It is in that hidden place that I teach you how to wait without despair, how to listen instead of only speaking your worries aloud, I am teaching your soul the rhythm of heaven, a rhythm that is neither hurried nor delayed, but filled with deep and abiding peace. Remember Mary of Bethany, who sat at my feet listening, while many others were busy with countless tasks. The world rushes endlessly and often believes that worth is found in constant activity. But Mary chose the better portion, my presence. And in that quiet place, her soul was filled with something no earthly work could ever replace. My beloved child, I am inviting you into that same rest, not so that you may escape life, but so that you may step back into it with a heart that has been made full again. For the person who has never been with me in the secret place will easily lose peace when storms arise in public view. And when you step out from that hidden place, others will sense something different about you, even if they cannot explain it. It will be the fragrance of a soul that has been near me. It will be the gentle strength of a heart no longer controlled by fear. I do not promise that every trial will disappear immediately, but I do promise that you will no longer walk through them alone. My peace will flow with you like a quiet river beneath every storm and every uncertainty. And from that place of peace, you will begin to act, not out of panic, but out of faith. Look at Abraham. When I called him to leave the land that was familiar to him, I did not hand him the entire map of his future. I simply told him to walk, and Abraham walked, not because he understood everything, but because he trusted the one who was leading him. I am calling you as well to step beyond your old limitations, your old fears, your old ways of thinking, the invisible cages in which you once confined yourself. Perhaps you cannot yet see the fullness of what lies ahead. But if I am guiding you, you do not need to be afraid. Epistle to the Hebrews 11:8 says that Abraham obeyed and went out, not knowing whither he went. That is the beauty of faith, walking forward even without full clarity, yet being fully certain that the one walking beside you is faithful. My child, every act of love you choose today is like opening another window for the light of good things to pour into your life. A word of encouragement can heal a soul that is quietly exhausted. A simple act of kindness may become the answer to someone's prayer. A decision to live uprightly in the middle of a chaotic world will allow my light to shine through you more powerfully than you realize. Do not underestimate small things. I often begin my greatest miracles through hands that are willing to do simple things with genuine love. When the gratitude within your heart begins to become visible through your actions, grace will no longer remain something you have merely heard about. It will become a living experience woven into your everyday life. You will begin to feel a joy that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that cannot easily be stolen, and a strength that does not come from yourself alone. Epistle to the Philippians 4:6-7 reminds you, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God, and the peace of God shall keep your hearts and minds. I desire that peace to dwell within you like a river that never runs dry. So today, my beloved child, continue returning to the secret place with me. Write down the things I have done so your heart will not forget the faithfulness of heaven. Let every day of your life become a gentle response to the grace I have poured upon you. And as you continue walking in gratitude, in faith, and in quiet acts of goodness, you will realize that the good things are no longer distant promises waiting somewhere ahead. They have already begun to bloom around you, within you, and through your life each day. My beloved child, do not think that faith is shown only through grand acts that capture the attention of the world. I often begin my deepest works through very small steps that only you and I notice. A gentle response instead of anger, a healing message instead of prolonged silence, a decision to wake a little earlier to spend a few moments with me before the day begins. These things may appear ordinary in the eyes of many people, yet in the spiritual realm, they are like the first seeds of a harvest being planted into fertile soil. And my child, every seed of love carries within it the power to open a harvest season far greater than what you can currently see. I delight in seeing you continue to move forward even when you do not yet hold all the answers in your hands. For true faith is not sitting still and waiting for miracles to appear before taking action. Faith is when you begin preparing in peace, because you know that I am leading the way. Noah built the ark at a time when the sky had not yet released a single drop of rain. Others may have believed he was foolish. Yet every strike of his hammer was a declaration that he trusted what I had spoken. My beloved child, I am inviting you to build in the same way. Perhaps today you are only learning a new skill, reorganizing your life, correcting small habits, or saving little by little for a meaningful purpose. But if I have placed those desires within your heart, do not dismiss them. Those hidden acts are your yes to the calling I have prepared for your life. Do not wait until the door is fully opened before preparing yourself. Begin preparing from the moment I first whisper within your spirit. When Joseph was still in prison, no one imagined that he was being prepared to govern all of Egypt. Yet even in that dark place, he remained faithful in the smallest responsibilities. And at the appointed time, what had been prepared in secret met the opportunity that was revealed openly. I am working in the same way within you. There are abilities I am awakening inside you today that will become keys to the doors of tomorrow. Therefore, learn to treasure the process instead of longing only for the final outcome. My beloved child, I want you to live within the gentle rhythm of grace. Do not turn your spiritual life into a burden that leaves you exhausted. Let it become like a river of peace flowing through each day of your life. When you wake in the morning, use your lips to speak blessings instead of complaints. Speak words of life over your work, your family, and your future. Book of Proverbs 18:21 declares, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue. What you sow through your words will gradually shape the atmosphere of your soul." Then throughout your day, keep your heart connected to me through short but sincere prayers. You do not need perfect words. I only desire your honest heart. And when evening comes, look for one good thing you can sow into another person's life, a word of encouragement, an act of help, a small gift, or simply loving attention through listening. Do you know, my child, these acts will not make you poorer. On the contrary, they enlarge your soul so you may receive more from me. Gospel of Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. But what I desire to give you is not merely material provision. I want to give you an open heart, a clear mind, and a soul filled with life. When you live within the rhythm of love and generosity, you will begin to feel a gentle force lifting and sustaining you. That is my grace moving within your life. You will notice that things which once felt unbearably heavy are becoming lighter, and fears that once chained you are slowly losing their power. For wherever my love is allowed to flow freely, chains begin to break. Remember the widow of Zarephath during the days of the prophet Elijah. She had only a handful of flour and a little oil left for herself and her son. Yet I touched her heart so she would offer even that small portion in faith. And the moment she gave while believing she had almost nothing left, the miracle began. The jar of flour did not run empty, and the bottle of oil did not fail. Do you see? My child, blessing often does not begin with abundance, but with a heart willing to trust and give what it already has. I do not ask you to possess everything before you begin doing good. I only ask you to remain faithful with the small portion already placed in your hands today. The help I send into your life may not always appear in the way you imagined. Sometimes I do not immediately remove the mountain before you, but instead give you the strength to walk across it. Sometimes I do not instantly open the exact door you desire, but quietly bring the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing so you may be better prepared. Therefore, live like one raising the sails to catch the winds of heaven. Organize your workspace as though opportunity is already drawing near. Learn diligently as though a new door is preparing to open. Manage your time and resources wisely, because what you prepare today will become the foundation for what I am about to entrust to you tomorrow. Epistle to the Romans 8:28 says, "All things work together for good to them that love God." This means that even the encounters that seem random, the delays, and the unexpected changes are all being woven together by me into a beautiful symphony for your life. You do not need to understand every note right now. I only desire that you continue walking according to my rhythm with a trusting heart. So today, my beloved child, rejoice in the process through which I am leading you. Do not underestimate the small acts done in faith and love. Those quiet footsteps are opening the way for good things, far greater than you can imagine. Continue sowing kindness. Continue learning. Continue praying. And continue preparing with a peaceful heart. And at the appointed time, you will stand before the door I prepared long ago. And you will smile as you realize that every faithful step from yesterday has been leading you into a new season filled with light today. My beloved child, I want you to understand that no act of love ends at the moment it is done. Every gentle word, every measure of patience you give, every time you choose to build up instead of wound another soul creates ripples that travel farther than your eyes can see. Sometimes a word of encouragement you speak today will become the very reason someone chooses not to give up tomorrow. Sometimes the quiet prayer you lift up for another person becomes the strength that helps them rise during a season of exhaustion. And sometimes a small act you consider insignificant is opening a door of hope for an entire family. Do you see? My child, when you allow my goodness to flow through you, your own soul is refreshed as well, just as a river does not become empty by watering the fields, but instead grows more alive through its flowing waters. You too will be nourished when you live as a channel of grace in this world. Therefore, learn to remember the small signs of my faithfulness surrounding your life. Perhaps it is a word of confirmation arriving at the exact moment you doubted yourself. Perhaps it is an unexpected idea arising while you pray. Perhaps it is a door you believed had already closed, suddenly opening more gently than you imagined. Do not underestimate such things. Gather them carefully like a farmer preserving precious seeds for the next season. David once said in Book of Psalms 77 that he remembered the works of the Lord so his heart could be strengthened. You must do the same. When you look back upon your journey, you will begin to notice a trail of grace connecting every day of your life, even during the moments when you could not recognize it at the time. And through that remembrance, a quiet confidence will begin to grow within your spirit, not the loud confidence of pride, but the peaceful assurance of one who knows they are being guided in the right direction. My child, I do not only want your hands to learn how to do good, I also want your heart to remain soft so you may endure the long journey ahead. There are people who do many good works while their souls remain filled with turmoil. They run endlessly until they collapse because the inner places of their hearts were never set in order. I do not want you to live that way. I want every step you take to be supported by an inward rest. That is why I am teaching you not only to act in faith, but also to live within the rhythm of peace. When your thoughts are purified, your emotions are healed, and your time is arranged around what truly matters, you will no longer feel as though you are merely struggling to survive. You will begin living like someone who has discovered the river of life flowing from within. Remember Martha and Mary of Bethany. Martha became so busy serving that her mind grew heavy with worry, while Mary chose first to sit near me and listen. I did not reject Martha's service, but I wanted her to understand that a peaceful heart is more precious than a life consumed by endless activity. My beloved child, there are moments when you too must sit before me in the same way, not to escape responsibility, but to allow your soul to be placed back into proper order. For if the inside of you remains restless, even good works can become burdens. But when your inner being rests in me, even difficult things become lighter. Gospel of Matthew 11:29 says, "Learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls." There are habits within your life that I am gently reshaping even now, often without you fully realizing it. I am teaching you how to release the things that drain your mind. I am whispering to your spirit so you may spend more time on what nourishes your soul rather than on what merely distracts you. Perhaps I am guiding you to sleep earlier so your mind may be restored. Perhaps I am urging you to spend less time in the noise of the world and more time in healing silence. Perhaps I am teaching you to say no to things that no longer belong in your life so your heart may remain lighter. Do not think these things are insignificant. A life is formed through the small things repeated day after day. Look at Daniel long ago. In the middle of a nation filled with pressure and temptation, he still kept the habit of praying faithfully before me. It was his consistency in the secret place that allowed him to stand firm during the great trials that later appeared in public view. The same is true for you. Your true strength is not born in the moments when others are watching, but in the quiet days when you continue keeping your heart near me. Epistle to the Galatians 6:9 reminds you, "Let us not be weary in well-doing." I know there are moments when you feel slow, when you believe you have not progressed as far as you hoped. But trust this, every day you allow me to reshape the deeper places within you. You are becoming stronger in the most lasting way possible. My beloved child, there will come a time when acting in faith will no longer feel like something you must force yourself to do. It will become the natural response of a soul that has been brought into alignment by my hand. Kindness will flow naturally from your eyes. Words that build others up will become your familiar language. Faith will no longer feel like a strained effort, but like a gentle breath woven into your everyday life. And in that very season, the doors I have prepared for you will begin to open before you quietly, yet with certainty. Book of Revelation 3:8 declares, "Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it." When you step into that new season, you will realize that what I have truly been building is not merely the circumstances around you, but the person within you. So today, my beloved child, continue allowing me to care for the deeper places of your soul. Let me restore the rhythm of your life, heal your weary thoughts, and renew your mind with peace from heaven. Do not be afraid of the slow and gentle process. A great tree requires time to grow deep roots before it can rise high toward the sky. And you are no different. When the deeper places within you have been made strong by my hand, your future steps will no longer feel heavy. They will become lighter, steadier, and filled with light, like someone walking securely in the gentle guidance of my hand. My beloved child, I do not require you to transform yourself into perfection before you are worthy to enter my plans for your life. I have never called you through harsh demands, but through a love that patiently cultivates growth. What I seek within you is not a soul that no longer struggles with weakness, but a heart willing to remain open so I may touch it and renew it day by day. Just as a gardener does not pull harshly on a young sprout to force it to grow faster, I do not demand that you mature overnight. I only desire that the soil of your soul remains soft before me. When you uproot the weeds of bitterness, fear, and jealousy, when you allow the waters of my word to soak deeply into your heart, when you open your spirit to the light of heaven, the seed I planted within you will grow naturally in its appointed season. There are people who exhaust themselves trying to change through sheer willpower alone, only to become weary because they constantly feel they are not good enough. But my child, True transformation does not come through the pressure of perfection. It comes from remaining near me long enough for your heart to slowly become more like mine. Gospel of John 15:5 says, "He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit." A branch does not strain itself to produce fruit. It simply remains connected to the vine so that life continues to flow through it. The same is true for you. When you continue in prayer, remain in my word, and live with gratitude, you are creating an environment where spiritual life can quietly grow within you. Perhaps today you do not yet see dramatic change, but day by day, little by little, I am renewing you from the inside outward. Remember Joseph during the long hidden years inside the prison of Egypt. No one could see the promise I had placed upon his life at that time. His circumstances seemed completely opposite to the dreams I had once given him. Yet in that hidden place, I was preparing his inner character. If Joseph had stepped into power too early, while his heart was still immature, pride or bitterness might have destroyed him. So I allowed him to learn faithfulness in small things, to learn how to serve even in darkness, and to keep his heart soft despite being treated unjustly. And when the appointed time finally came, that prepared inner life became the foundation that enabled him to stand firmly in power without losing his soul. My beloved child, foundations are always built in secret before the house itself becomes visible. People often focus only on outward beauty, but I look into the deepest places of the heart. I care about how you live when no one else is watching. I see every moment when you choose integrity, even though no one notices. I see the days when you continue praying, even when you feel nothing extraordinary. I see the small acts of faithfulness the world easily overlooks, and those very things are building lasting strength within you. Gospel of Luke 16:10 says, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much." If today you learn how to stand firmly in the secret place, tomorrow you will not easily be shaken in public view. Do not rush to follow the rhythm of others and then believe you are falling behind. You were never called to copy another person's journey. The plan I have prepared for you carries its own timing, its own path, and its own unique doors. If David had tried to wear Saul's armor in order to fight Goliath, he would barely have been able to move. But when he stepped forward, using what I had personally prepared for him, a sling and a few small stones, victory opened before him. The same is true for you. I do not want you to live in comparison. I want you to learn how to recognize the rhythm I have designed specifically for your life. There will be seasons when I ask you to stop and rest, while others seem to be accelerating ahead. There will also be moments when I urge you to move forward, while everyone else is still hesitating. If you keep staring at the journeys of others, you may miss the personal calling I am speaking over your own life. Inner readiness will also keep you from panicking when new doors begin to open before you. Many people pray for opportunity, yet when opportunity arrives, they step backward because inwardly they are unprepared. I do not want you to live that way. I am teaching you to trust that the right encounters have already been prepared ahead of time. There are people I will bring into your life to strengthen you, teach you, or walk beside you into a new season. There are places I will lead you that today you cannot yet imagine. And when those moments arrive, the first sign you will notice will not be chaotic excitement, but a deep and quiet peace within your spirit. Epistle to the Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." That peace will become like a gentle lamp, guiding you forward. My child, my doors do not require you to force them open through fear or pressure. When I make a way, things often unfold with a quiet certainty. You will feel that there is enough light for the next step. Even though you cannot yet see the entire road ahead, I do not require you to understand everything before moving forward. I only ask that you trust me enough to take the first step. Approach the opportunities I place before you with a teachable spirit. with gentleness, and with a willingness to cooperate with my leading. Do not carry pride that tells you that you must control everything, and do not carry fear that whispers you are incapable. If I have opened the door, it means I have already prepared the strength you will need to walk through it. My beloved child, everything you are doing today, praying, learning, loving, serving, and correcting small habits, is not meaningless. They are like stones, being carefully laid down to build the foundation of your future. Perhaps the process feels slower than you hoped, but deep foundations always require time. A tree may grow quickly above the ground, but if its roots are shallow, the first strong wind will tear it down. I am causing your roots to grow deep into peace, wisdom, and trust in me. And when the inner places of your life have been made strong, what I build outwardly will remain steady through every season. So today, my beloved child, continue allowing me to tend the garden of your inner life. Do not become impatient with the process I am working within you. Keep your heart soft. Continue the habit of staying near me, and keep walking faithfully in the small things. Then the day will come when you stand before doors that open naturally before you, and your heart will no longer be afraid. You will realize that you are standing in the right place, at the right time, alongside the very people I prepared long ago. And within that peace, you will understand that good things do not arrive through force, but through the gentle guidance of my hand upon your life. My beloved child, there will be encounters in your life that are not accidents, but moments arranged quietly beforehand by my hand. I am the one who joins together paths that once seemed unrelated, the one who causes the right people to appear at the exact moment your soul is ready. And when I open those doors, what I desire from you is not strained effort to impress others, but a peaceful heart that knows how to listen. For many important things are not found in how much you speak, but in whether you truly hear what lies beneath another person's words. A soul that listens through love will perceive needs that ordinary eyes cannot recognize. Epistle of James 1:19 declares, "Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak." When you enter a conversation carrying quietness within your spirit, you will begin to notice that I am gently showing you what should be spoken and what should remain unspoken. Do not try to place the whole weight of your world upon another person in a single meeting. I delight more in simplicity and sincerity than in excessive display. Learn how to speak what truly matters with humility and clarity. A small but good seed can one day open an entire field of harvest. In contrast, a hurried soul often wants everything to happen immediately and, in doing so, easily loses the peace I desire to give. My child, what comes from me does not require frantic urgency in order to survive. When a door is truly opened by my hand, you will feel a quiet certainty within it, not pressure demanding that you seize it immediately before it disappears, but a peace that allows you to move forward one wise step at a time. Remember the meeting between Ruth and Boaz in the grain fields. Ruth did not come with ambitious schemes or restless striving. She simply walked in faithfulness and humility. Yet I used that simple encounter to open a new chapter in her life. And from that lineage, far greater things were later born. My beloved child, many of the doors I open for you will come in the same natural way. No forcing, no grasping through fear. Simply continue walking in integrity and gentleness, and I will cause the right connections to find you at the appointed time. After every conversation or opportunity I place before you, learn to return to stillness and listen carefully to your own heart. If peace continues to grow within you, even before visible results appear, that is often a sign that I am guiding you to keep moving forward. But if your spirit becomes increasingly restless, pressured, or consumed by the fear of needing to prove yourself, Slow down before me. Epistle to the Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God shall keep your hearts and minds." That peace acts like a gatekeeper over your soul. It helps you discern what is moving in the right direction and what still requires more prayer and waiting. Do not forget that I alone am the true source of every good thing. I may use people to open doors for you, but never allow your heart to become dependent upon them. If you make another person the only anchor for your future, fear and disappointment will easily overtake you. But when you understand that I am the Lord over every door, your heart will remain free. If one door closes, you will not collapse. If another opens, you will not become prideful. Job endured tremendous loss. Yet in the end, he understood that all things rested within my hands. Learn that same rest. My child, what truly belongs to you cannot be stolen simply because one meeting failed or one temporary rejection occurred. I also want you to enter new relationships and opportunities with practical wisdom. Faith does not oppose preparation. Faith teaches you to prepare in peace. Therefore, learn how to communicate clearly what I have placed within your heart. You do not need to decorate yourself as though you were perfect. Be honest about the value you can offer and the ways you are willing to serve. Book of Proverbs 22:29 says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings." The quiet preparation you are embracing today is opening pathways for tomorrow's encounters. There are simple, small steps that carry great wisdom within them. A sincere word of thanks after a meeting. A gentle message that continues a meaningful connection. A practical and achievable proposal rather than vague ideas with no direction. These things are like someone carefully tending the flow of water so it may move naturally along its course. I am the one who gives opportunities, but I also want you to learn how to steward what I place into your hands with faithfulness and discernment. In my parable, the faithful servants did not bury what they had received out of fear. They used it faithfully and wisely. You must do the same with the doors I choose to open before you. My child, do not place pressure upon yourself, believing that every encounter must immediately produce something great. Some relationships need time to grow roots. Some doors I open little by little in order to protect both you and others from rushing ahead too quickly. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He hath made everything beautiful in his time." I am teaching you to trust that rhythm of timing. When you stop forcing everything according to your own expectations, you will begin to enjoy the process instead of living only for the final outcome. And there will come a day when you look back and realize that every meeting at the right time, every simple conversation, and every small act of follow-through was being woven together by my hand into a meaningful path. You will see that you were never walking alone. I went before you to prepare hearts, prepare moments, and prepare the opportunities you would need. And the most beautiful part is that throughout the entire journey, I was not only opening outward doors for you, I was also enlarging your own heart so you could become wiser, more peaceful, and more like me. So today, my beloved child, walk gently yet steadily. Keep your soul soft, your words sincere, and your eyes focused more upon me than upon people. I will guide you through the right doors at the most beautiful appointed time. And when that moment arrives, you will not need to force anything into place. You will simply walk forward in peace, like someone who has known all along that my hand has quietly been leading the way. My beloved child, remember that not every door I allow you to see is a place where you are meant to remain forever. Some doors are opened only to teach you a lesson necessary for the journey ahead. Some encounters last for only a short season, yet they plant seeds of wisdom within your heart that will bloom many years later. There are also places I bring you not so you may gain something for yourself, but so you may become living water for someone who is spiritually dry. Therefore, do not measure the value of a door merely by whether it brings long-term benefit to you personally. I see farther than your eyes can see. Sometimes what I desire is not for you to remain in that place, but simply for my light to pass through you at the appointed moment. That is why you must learn to discern through peace rather than through haste. Do not allow temporary excitement to pull you away from the rhythm of my guidance. Continue returning to my word so it may illuminate every decision you make. Epistle to the Galatians 5:22 speaks of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness. If the path before you causes these things to grow within your heart, it is often a good sign. But if your mind becomes stretched by fear, competition, or the pressure to prove your worth, slow down before me. Pausing to pray is not weakness. Many times, stopping at the right moment is one of the most beautiful forms of obedience. Remember Paul the Apostle during his missionary journeys. There were places he deeply desired to go, yet the Holy Spirit prevented him. Then, at the appointed time, I opened another door leading him to Macedonia, a place where many souls were waiting to be touched. Do you see? My child, not every good desire belongs to the right season. But when you learn to move according to my leading, I will always give you enough light for the next step. Not so much that you begin living by control, but not so little that you walk in despair. I give you just enough clarity to continue moving forward in faith. My beloved child, through every encounter I arrange, you will begin to see the pieces of your life gradually falling into their proper places. Perhaps today you meet someone only to learn one small skill. Tomorrow you receive an idea that seems simple at first. Sometime later, another opportunity appears and unexpectedly connects to what you learned before. Everything may seem unrelated, yet I am weaving it all together into a complete picture. Epistle to the Romans 8:28 declares, "All things work together for good to them that love God." I am causing even the smallest details to serve the good purpose I have prepared for your life. Do not focus only on what you might receive from new doors opening before you. I want you to remember that the ultimate purpose of blessing is never for you to keep it only for yourself, but for the flow of love to continue moving through you toward others. When I give you healing, I am also preparing you to comfort those who are wounded. When I give you resources, I am teaching you to live generously. When I open opportunities before you, I am also preparing the souls who will be touched through your life. Book of Genesis 12:2 says, "I will bless thee, and thou shalt be a blessing." That has always been the heartbeat of my plan. What I pour into you is meant to continue flowing outward beyond you. And little by little, you will begin to feel the restoration I promised growing within your life. It will not always arrive like a storm that changes everything overnight. Often, it is more like the gentle rain of spring soaking slowly into land that has been dry for many years. I heal you from the inside first. I restore hope in the places that once carried despair. I soften the heart that had become hardened through pain. I bring peace back into the spaces that were once filled with the noise of anxiety. And when those hidden places within you begin to come alive again, everything else will gradually begin to change as well. You will realize that your past no longer controls you the way it once did. The things that once wounded you deeply will no longer hold power over your mind. Instead of endlessly grieving what was lost, you will begin to recognize the beauty of what is being given to you today. Book of Isaiah 61:3 declares that I give the oil of joy for mourning. This is how I restore, not merely by covering wounds, but by transforming the very places that once carried pain into sources of new life. My restoration will also touch the practical areas of your life. There are old relationships that once drained your soul, yet I will replace them with healthier connections. There are doors that closed and caused you many tears, but I will open opportunities that are far more aligned with the person I created you to be. There were seasons when you lived in lack and anxiety, but I will teach you how to steward your time, finance, and abilities with new wisdom. Epistle to the Philippians 4:19 says, "But my God shall supply all your need. I do not desire for you merely to survive in weakness. I desire for you to stand upon a firm foundation and walk forward in peace." My beloved child, be patient with this process of restoration. A garden after a season of drought does not burst into bloom overnight. Yet when the rain continues to fall faithfully, life quietly begins to return. The same is true for you. Every day you remain near me. Every day you continue walking in faith. Every day you keep your heart soft and grateful. Restoration is spreading deeper within you than you realize. And there will come a moment when you look back in amazement and recognize that what I have done is far greater than healing a few wounded places in your life. I have been rebuilding an entire land that once felt barren into a place overflowing with life and light. So today, my beloved child, do not fear my slow and gentle processes. Continue walking in peace. Keep your heart close to me, and receive each rainfall of grace that I am pouring over your life. The doors I open will lead you into true restoration that is not fragile or temporary, but deep enough to remain steady through every season. And as those good things continue growing within your life, you will become a living testimony that my hand still heals, renews, and brings abundance to everything I touch. My beloved child, when I begin restoring your soul, my purpose is not only to pull you out of seasons of lack or heal old wounds. I am leading you into a fuller life, not so you may hoard blessings for yourself, but so you may become a source of refreshment for others. A true river does not keep its water only for itself, it flows outward. And because of that, the land around it begins to live again. You are the same. When my peace fills your heart, it will naturally reach others through your eyes, your words, and the way you live each day. When hope is rekindled within you, you will become a lamp for those who are still walking through darkness. That is the meaning of abundance in the kingdom of heaven, not merely having enough to survive, but having enough to give away. I do not want you to remain forever in the mindset of someone who is merely trying to escape hardship. I want you to grow into someone who can strengthen and lift up others. Perhaps today, what you have to give is not great wealth or impressive things in the eyes of the world, but you can offer the compassion you once desperately needed during your own painful seasons. You can share the wisdom I taught you through times of testing. You can intercede in prayer for those who are weak with the same heart I once healed within you. And my child, every time you give from the abundance I have placed inside you, your joy will increase again. Gospel of Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." This is not merely a principle about material things. It is the rhythm of grace itself. A soul that learns to pour out love will not easily run dry. Do not assume that the abundance I give will always appear in the form you once imagined. There may be seasons when you ask me to expand your finances, yet instead I give you wisdom to manage well what you already possess. And that wisdom becomes the foundation for lasting stability. Sometimes you pray for a new career opportunity, but I send a small encounter that quietly opens an entirely different direction for your future. Remember Solomon. He asked for wisdom instead of riches, and I gave him even the things he had not requested. I am teaching you the same truth. The greatest treasure is not merely what you receive, but the person you become in the process of receiving it. My beloved child, the restoration and abundance I give are not rewards for finally becoming worthy enough. They are the natural result of a soul choosing to remain close to me and walk according to my leading. Just as a branch bears fruit by remaining connected to the vine, you will bear fruit when you remain connected to the life of heaven. Gospel of John 15:7 says, "If ye abide in me, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you." The difficult years you once endured were never meaningless. I used those seasons of lack to deepen your heart, enlarge your capacity to receive, and teach you to treasure grace more deeply. A reservoir must first be dug wide before heavy rains can fill it. And my child, I have been preparing you in the same way. And there will come a day when you look back over your journey and realize that what I did was never only about rescuing you from pain. I have been writing a living testimony through your life, a testimony of my faithfulness in the darkest seasons. But my child, do not tell that story to exalt yourself. Tell it with the humility of someone who knows that without my hand, they would never have been able to stand again. Book of Revelation 12:11 says that they overcame by the word of their testimony. A true testimony does not require exaggeration. Its power comes from sincerity and from the fragrance of gratitude. When you speak about how I lifted you up during the days when you thought you had no strength left, weary people will begin to believe that they too can be lifted again. When you tell of the doors I opened after long seasons of waiting, those who feel forgotten will realize that heaven has not abandoned them. And when you honestly share even your weaknesses, others will stop believing they must become perfect before they can be loved by me. Remember the Samaritan woman at the well. After meeting me, she did not become a famous speaker or a woman of great status. She simply ran and told others what I had done in her life. Yet through that simple testimony, an entire town came searching for me. Do you see? My child, a sincere heart always carries the power to touch other souls. Do not be ashamed of the tears you once shed. It is often within those very places of weakness that my power is revealed most clearly. Paul the Apostle once heard me say, "My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." There are people who will be healed not because they see how strong you are, but because they see how faithfully I carried you when you thought you were about to collapse. A truthful testimony can soften hearts that have become hardened by disappointment. It can rekindle the flame of faith in someone who once believed hope had already died. And then, my beloved child, you will finally understand that the mission of your life is not merely to arrive at a better place for yourself alone. Your true calling is to become a bridge through which good things continue flowing into this world. Some people will discover hope because of your story. Some will dare to rise again because they see that I did not abandon you. And some will begin to believe that they too are loved and healed by the very same hand that once lifted you up. So today, continue walking in the restoration I am bringing into your life. Keep your heart soft and filled with gratitude. Let the abundance I pour into you become living water flowing through your life toward those who are thirsty. And as you share your journey with sincerity and humility, you will begin to see that the story I am writing through you is no longer healing only you. It is becoming a light for many who are searching for their way through darkness. My beloved child, if you desire the flow of blessing to continue moving through your life with clarity and endurance, then learn how to keep your soul tender before me. There are hearts that were once filled with the fire of love, but gradually became hardened because they forgot how to remain grateful. There are also people who once received much grace, yet lost their freedom because they clung too tightly to what they had been given. That is why I am teaching you 3 simple things that carry the power to keep your spirit continually renewed. Intentional gratitude, generosity guided by wisdom, and faithfulness even in the small things I place into your hands each day. When you learn to give thanks even for things that seem ordinary, your heart will not easily fall into complaint and emptiness. A grateful soul can see light where others see only darkness. Thank me for the breath of the morning, for the small peace hidden within a long day, for the doors opened at the right moment, and even for the things I quietly prevented in order to protect you. Perhaps today you do not yet understand everything I am doing, but gratitude will keep your heart rooted in trust rather than anxiety. In the story of the 10 lepers who were healed, only one returned to give thanks. and it was that one who received a deeper wholeness than the others. Do you see? My child, gratitude does not merely acknowledge miracles, it enlarges the soul so it may receive even more from me. I also want you to learn how to give without being chained by the fear of lack. When you learn to share with love and wisdom, you are declaring that I alone am the true source of your provision. What you give will not always be money. Sometimes it is the time you spend listening to someone who is exhausted. Sometimes it is a quiet prayer lifted for another person in the middle of the night. Sometimes it is patience, compassion, or wisdom learned through your own painful seasons. Book of Proverbs 11:25 says, "The liberal soul shall be made fat. In the kingdom of heaven, water that is hoarded becomes stagnant, but water that continues to flow outward is continually renewed." And my child, do not underestimate obedience in the smallest things. Some people wait for me to entrust them with great responsibilities while they ignore the simple reminders I place before them every day. They long to hear thunder from heaven, but refuse to respond to the gentle whisper of the Spirit within their hearts. My beloved child, it is the small steps of obedience that keep the ears of your spirit sensitive to my voice. When I urge you to forgive, forgive. When I lead you to rest so your soul may recover, then rest. When I place a small act of goodness within your heart, do it willingly and with joy. Gospel of Luke 16:10 says, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much." These simple acts are like quiet streams watering the entire inner field of your life. And there will come a time when people look at your life and quietly wonder what has changed you so deeply. They will recognize within you a peace that does not come from circumstances, and a light that cannot easily be extinguished by disappointment. That is, when your life itself will become a living testimony, more powerful than any sermon. You will not need to argue endlessly or force others to believe as you do. Light does not debate with darkness, it simply continues to shine. Gospel of Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light so shine before men." As you continue walking in love and integrity, I will use your very life to touch those who are longing for hope. Tell your story with humility. My beloved child, do not speak only of victories, but also of the nights when you were weak and how I lifted you up again. Speak of the moments when you believed every door had closed, yet I opened a new path when you no longer had the strength to search for one yourself. Paul the Apostle once pleaded with me to remove the thorn in his flesh, but I answered him, "My grace is sufficient for thee." It was through that weakness that my power became even more visible, and the same will be true for you. There are people who will rediscover hope, not because they see that you never fell, but because they see how I sustained you when you believed you could no longer rise again. But my beloved child, along this journey, I also want you to guard your heart carefully against the quiet roots of bitterness. There are paths that appear gentle on the surface, yet slowly lead the soul away from the light of truth. When resentment remains too long within the heart, it becomes like poison, slowly seeping into the waters within you. It steals peace, dims joy, and makes the soul heavy without you even realizing it. Epistle to the Hebrews 12:15 warns about the root of bitterness that can defile many. Therefore, do not continue carrying the stones of old wounds in your hands. You cannot walk lightly into the future while still clinging tightly to the pain of the past. Look at Joseph. He was betrayed, sold away, and forgotten inside a prison. Yet, when the opportunity for revenge finally came, he chose forgiveness instead. And it was that forgiveness that kept his soul free enough to step into the greater purpose I had prepared for his life. My beloved child, forgiveness does not declare that what others did was right. It simply means that you refuse to allow their darkness to continue ruling your heart. When you release bitterness, you open the door once again for light and healing to enter. I do not want you to live merely by outward rules while inwardly remaining filled with chaos. I want your soul to be cleansed daily through my love and truth. Allow your mind to be renewed. Choose thoughts that bring life instead of thoughts that pull you downward into darkness. Epistle to the Romans 12:2 says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." When the inside of you becomes filled with light, the steps you take outwardly will become steadier as well. So today, my beloved child, continue living within the rhythm of gratitude, generosity, and obedience. Keep your heart light by releasing every bitterness that no longer belongs within you. Allow the story I am writing through your life to continue becoming a light for those who are still walking through darkness. And as you move forward with a soul being renewed day by day, you will begin to realize that good things are not only surrounding you, they are growing within you, becoming a river of life that continues to flow without end. My beloved child, do not think that I love only those who have never stumbled. If that were true, no one would ever be worthy to enter my embrace. What I treasure in you is not a flawless journey without mistakes, but a heart still willing to rise again after every fall. A soul that still knows how to return to truth will always have hope. A righteous person is not someone who never falls, but someone who refuses to remain in darkness after falling. Book of Proverbs 24:16 declares, "For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again." And my child, every time you choose to rise again, every time you choose to continue walking, even while weary, I see it all. Not one small effort of yours is forgotten before me. I know there are moments when the easy choice stands directly before you, while the right choice demands sacrifice, surrender, and even misunderstanding from others. Yet it is within those very moments that your inner character is formed most deeply. Every time you choose truth instead of convenience, you are laying another stone into the foundation of your future. Perhaps no one sees the difference today, but heaven records every one of those quiet decisions. Joseph refused to step into sin even when no one around him would have known what happened. And it was that integrity in the hidden place that prepared the way for me to raise him up at the appointed time. The same is true for you. My child, do not believe your faithfulness is meaningless simply because it has not yet been recognized openly. My beloved child, you are far more precious to me than you have ever imagined. I do not look at you the way the world does. People often measure value through achievements, appearance, or visible success. But I look into the deepest places of your soul, the places where hidden wounds remain unspoken, where fears hide behind your smile, and where silent longings exist that no one else fully understands. And I do not turn away from those things. Book of Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before you ever accomplished anything for me, you were already loved. Before you proved your worth to anyone, you were already a treasured work within my hands. There have been cracks within your heart that made you believe you were broken beyond repair. But my child, I can cause light to shine through the very places that once carried the deepest pain. Look at Thomas the Apostle after my resurrection. He carried doubt and weakness within him. Yet, I did not reject him. I came near and allowed him to touch the wounds in my hands. Do you see? I am not ashamed of the fragile places within you. Instead, I desire to use them to reveal that my love is powerful enough to heal and renew a person from the inside out. I did not create you merely to survive from one day to the next. I desire for you to live a life filled with meaning, a life where your soul walks in freedom and your heart overflows with true life. Gospel of John 10:10 says, "I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly." That abundance is not only material, it is peace in the middle of storms, hope during seasons of waiting, and joy that does not depend on circumstances. When you remain near me, You will discover that my love not only comforts wounded places, but also awakens strength within you that you never knew you possessed. I know the prayers you have lifted in silence. There are things you have never spoken aloud to another person. Yet I have heard them long ago. There were nights when you no longer had strength to form words, when only quiet sighs remained in the darkness, and still I understood every part of them. Epistle to the Romans 8:26 says that the Spirit intercedes with groanings too deep for words. My beloved child, no sincere prayer is ever lost before me. I keep them carefully like a farmer preserving precious seeds for the proper season of planting. What you are waiting for has not been forgotten in my hands. It is being protected, prepared, and brought forth at the most beautiful appointed time. Do not allow the passing of time to convince you that heaven's silence means I have stopped working. Some seeds must grow deep roots before they ever rise above the ground. Some miracles are being formed in places your eyes cannot yet see. Abraham waited a very long time before seeing the promise fulfilled. Yet what I spoke never lost its power. I am guarding my promises over your life in the same way. Keep hope alive within your heart. Hope is like an open door through which light enters. When you continue trusting me during seasons of waiting, you are allowing faith to grow stronger than fear. The road ahead will not always be smooth, but do not fear the difficult stretches of the journey. I never promised to remove every trial from your life, but I did promise that no trial would be meaningless. Epistle to the Romans 5:3-4 teaches that tribulation produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. There are lessons that can only be learned during dark seasons. There are strengths that can only be formed when you pass through hardship while still keeping your heart soft. It was in the wilderness that the people of Israel learned that I could still provide manna every morning. It was in prison that Paul the Apostle learned how to sing praises while wearing chains. And it is often during the seasons when you believe you are losing something that I am actually deepening your soul for something greater ahead. Look at a seed buried beneath the soil. From the outside, people may think it has disappeared into darkness, yet in that very hidden place, new life is being prepared. The same is true for you. My beloved child, there are seasons when I allow you to remain unseen, not because I have forgotten you, but because I am shaping you in quietness. I am arranging things you cannot yet see. I am connecting people, timing, and opportunities in ways far beyond your understanding. And when the appointed moment arrives, what was once hidden will rise like a young shoot reaching toward the sunlight. So today, my beloved child, do not fear the quiet seasons or the moments when you cannot yet see results. Continue walking in integrity. Continue holding on to hope. And continue keeping your heart close to me. The tears you once shed were not wasted. The times you rose again after falling have not been forgotten. I am using all of it to write a new chapter more beautiful than you can imagine. And one day, you will look back and realize that even during your darkest days, my hand never left your life for even a single moment. My beloved child, I want you to see each day you are living as sacred ground where I am planting seeds for your future. No day is meaningless when you walk with me. There are days filled with light, when your heart feels as free as a bird moving through the morning wind, and there are days weighed down with weariness, when you must drag each step through confusion and exhaustion. But my child, both kinds of days can become good soil when you place them into my hands. When joy comes, receive it with gratitude instead of living in fear of losing it. And when trials appear, do not ask only, how do I escape this? Instead ask, Father, what are you teaching me through this season? It is that posture that will allow your soul to grow strong without becoming controlled by circumstances. Do not compare your path with the journeys of others. I have never called two souls to walk in exactly the same rhythm. Some people I lead very quickly because what they must learn is found within movement itself. Others I lead more slowly because I am building deep foundations within them. If a tree grows too quickly before its roots are deep enough, the first strong wind will easily tear it down. But the tree whose roots are strengthened carefully will stand through many storms. My beloved child, the pace I have chosen for you is not punishment, it is the wisdom of love. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He hath made everything beautiful in his time." What I am preparing for you will arrive when you are mature enough to hold it without losing the peace within your soul. Perhaps today you look at others and feel that they have gone farther, receiving the very things you are still waiting for. But do not allow comparison to steal the joy of the journey I am writing uniquely for you. When Peter the Apostle looked at John the Apostle and questioned his future, I answered, "What is that to thee? Follow thou me." The same is true for you. I do not want your eyes fixed so constantly on another person's life that you forget where my hand is leading you. The plan I have prepared for you carries a unique imprint, and no one else can replace the place I have designed specifically for your life. And, my beloved child, if there are days when you become so weary that you no longer have strength to continue, remember that I never asked you to carry every burden by yourself. I never created you to survive through your own strength alone. Gospel of Matthew 11:28 says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." I am the place where your soul finds true rest. The world may offer temporary distraction, but only I can calm the storm within your heart. And when you return to me in honest weakness, I do not condemn you. I open my arms to receive you like a father lifting up a child exhausted after a long journey. Remember Elijah after the great victory on Mount Carmel. That mighty prophet also experienced a moment when he sat beneath the broom tree and wanted to give up everything. Yet I did not abandon him in his exhaustion. Before entrusting him with any new assignment, I first gave him rest, food, and renewed strength. Do you see? My beloved child, I care not only about your calling, but also about your soul and your body. There are moments when the most spiritual thing you can do is not to strive harder, but to stop beside me and allow yourself to be restored. When you hand your burdens over to me, I will exchange them for a peace the world cannot give. When you release the fear of needing to control everything, I will fill your heart with the assurance that I am still holding the entire picture of your life within my hands. There are moments when you believe you are moving backward, yet I am using those very seasons to redirect you away from paths that were never meant for you. Joseph once believed his life had collapsed when he was sold into slavery and forgotten in prison. But I was using every event to lead him toward the place I had prepared for him from the beginning. The same is true for you. Do not rush to define your entire journey based on one difficult chapter. I see the complete picture that you cannot yet see. You see only one small piece in the present moment, while I see the entire masterpiece being formed. Epistle to the Romans 8:28 reminds you, all things work together for good to them that love God. This means that even the things you do not understand today can still be woven by my hand into beauty for your future. Not one tear has been wasted. Not one season of waiting has been meaningless. Every part is shaping the person I intended you to become from the very beginning. Therefore, continue walking forward with trust. Let your past teach you gratitude instead of imprisoning you in regret. Let the present become the place where you remain faithful in the small things I place before you. And let your future rest in my hands rather than in your anxiety. You do not need to know everything that will happen tomorrow in order to live in peace today. I only ask that you remember I am still walking beside you. Do not allow the voices of people to define your worth. Some judgments are nothing more than passing winds. Yet, if you keep them within your heart too long, they can become invisible chains. I do not want you living according to the changing opinions of the world. Your value is not determined by how much recognition others give you, but by the truth that I have already called you my beloved child. Book of Isaiah 43:1 declares, I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. No rejection from people can erase what I have spoken over your life. The fears, whispering that you are not good enough, not strong enough, or that it is already too late, are only shadows before the light of my truth. Do not allow them to become the voice that guides your life. Let my word become your standard, your measure, and the place where your soul is anchored. When you walk within my light, the other voices will gradually fade away, just as Peter the Apostle was able to walk upon the water while his eyes remained fixed on me. You too will stand firm when your heart stays closer to me than to fear. And now, my beloved child, continue stepping into the new chapter I am opening before your life. That chapter will not be written through pressure and fear, but through the wisdom, strength, and love I prepared long ago for you. Keep your heart soft. Keep your eyes turned toward the light, and keep your hand within mine, for your story is not finished in truth. The most beautiful part is still ahead of you. My beloved child, when you truly learn how to rest in me, you will begin to feel the invisible chains that once tightened around your heart slowly falling away. You will no longer live under the pressure of trying to satisfy every gaze around you. The world constantly changes its standards today. It may praise you. Tomorrow, it may forget you. If you build your worth upon the approval of people, your soul will remain exhausted. But when you anchor your heart in me, you will discover a deep peace that no judgment or rejection can steal away. Book of Psalms 62:1 says, Truly my soul waiteth upon God. That rest does not make you passive or cause you to give up. On the contrary, it becomes the solid rock beneath your feet, allowing you to walk forward without being ruled by fear. There are people who run endlessly because they fear they will never reach what they desire. But my child, the one who lives in my rest is no longer driven by panic. They walk with the peace of someone who knows that what I have appointed for them cannot be stolen by time or by another person. When I plant a dream within your heart, I do not plant something meaningless. Perhaps today it still appears as small as a mustard seed. But if you continue nurturing it with faith and faithfulness, I will cause it to grow in its proper season. Do not despise what I have placed within you simply because it has not yet taken visible form. The greatest things in the kingdom of heaven often begin in silence and obscurity. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you look at the road you are walking and wonder why it feels so winding and uncertain. There are turns that confuse you. There are closed doors that break your heart. There are waiting seasons so long that you begin to fear you have wandered away from your purpose. But remember this, I have never lost my way with your life. Book of Isaiah 55:8-9 declares that my ways are higher than the ways of man. What you call detours today, you will later call wise guidance. Joseph had to pass through pits, slavery, and prison before stepping into the place I had prepared for him. If you viewed each stage separately, everything would seem senseless. But once the entire picture was revealed, every event fit together perfectly, even when the circumstances around you appear unreasonable. I am still working with perfect precision. I am not limited by what your eyes can see. When you cannot find a path forward, I remain the one who opens a way through the sea. When Lazarus of Bethany lay inside the tomb and everyone believed hope had already died, I still arrived at the appointed moment to reveal a greater glory. The same is true for you. There are things today that seem permanently closed. Yet, I am still working behind the curtain you cannot see. Gospel of John 11:40 says, If thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God. Do not allow what your natural eyes see to make you forget what I am quietly accomplishing. The good things I am preparing for you are often like seeds buried deep beneath the soil. From the outside, it appears as though nothing is happening at all. Yet in that dark and silent place, life is quietly beginning to emerge. Roots are stretching deeper. New growth is being formed. My beloved child, I am doing the same within your life. There are encounters I am preparing. There are people I am gradually bringing closer to you. There are doors for which I am adjusting the timing so that when they finally open, everything will align in the most beautiful way. And even when you cannot perceive it, I have never stopped working for your good. Look at Esther. There were years when she simply lived quietly within the palace without understanding why her life had taken such a path. Yet at the appointed time, I used the very position she occupied to save an entire people. Only later did others understand that none of the earlier seasons had been accidental. The same is true for you. Perhaps today you can see only one small part of the picture, but I see the whole masterpiece. And every piece is being placed exactly where it belongs. And there will come a day when you look back and finally understand why I had to lead you along winding roads. You will realize that some doors were closed in order to protect you from what was not yet right for you. Some waiting seasons were extended so your heart could mature enough to carry what I was preparing to give you. Some painful losses were actually my way of freeing you from the very things that would have hindered your future. Then Epistle to the Romans Act 28 will no longer remain merely a verse you understand with your mind. It will become a living testimony written across your life. All things work together for good to them that love God. And when that day comes, joy will overflow within your heart like waters breaking through a riverbank. But my beloved child, true joy always longs to spread beyond itself. You will not be able to keep the story I have written through your life only for yourself. You will tell it with eyes that once wept, but now shine with hope. You will speak of the seasons when you believed everything had ended. Yet I was quietly beginning something new. You will tell of the prayers once whispered in the darkness and how I answered them at the most beautiful appointed time. And as you share your story with sincere gratitude, those who are weary and discouraged will begin to believe that they too have not been forgotten. Remember the woman who suffered from the issue of blood for many years. After I healed her, I did not want her to receive the miracle and then quietly disappear into the crowd. I allowed her to stand and tell what had happened because her testimony would become hope for others. My beloved child, I desire to use your story in the same way, not to exalt you before people, but so that those who are despairing may know that my love is still moving and healing today. Every time you share what I have done, hope will be planted into new soil. Some people will be touched immediately. Others will need more time for the seed to grow within their hearts. But nothing sown in love is ever wasted. Book of Isaiah 55:11 declares that my word will not return void. And the story of your life, when placed into my hands, will carry that same living power. So today, my beloved child, continue resting within my presence. Do not fear the roads you do not yet fully understand. Do not lose heart because certain waiting seasons still remain long. I am still leading you, still preparing good things for you, and still writing a story more beautiful than you once imagined possible. Keep your heart soft, keep your faith alive, and continue walking in peace. For the next chapter of your life will no longer be written by fear, but by the light of hope, restoration, and my love that never leaves you. My beloved child, always remember that you have never walked alone for even a single moment. There may be days when the heavens seem silent, nights when you feel lost upon a road without light. Yet even then, my hand remains very near. I do not only see your destination, I know every small step along the journey leading you there. Book of Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, thoughts of peace, and not of evil, to give you an expected end. My child, the future I have prepared for you is not built upon fear or abandonment, but upon hope, restoration, and unchanging love. Do not allow your heart to be shaken by temporary circumstances. Some storms appear enormous while you are standing in the middle of them, but when time is past, you will realize they were only a small part of the greater story I was writing through your life. If you anchor your heart to the changing things of this world, you will easily be tossed about. But if you anchor your soul in my love, you will stand firm, even when great waves rise around you. Epistle to the Romans 8:38-39 declares that nothing shall be able to separate us from the love of God. No failure of yours is great enough to make me turn away. No darkness is deep enough that my light cannot reach it. My love for you is not like the fragile love of the world, which changes according to emotions or circumstances. I do not love you more on the days when you feel strong, nor do I love you less on the days when you feel weak. Even when you doubt yourself, I still see you through the eyes of grace. Book of Isaiah 49:16 says, "Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. My beloved child, your name has never been forgotten before me. Your quiet sighs, the tears you hide from others, and the prayers too deep for words, I hear every one of them. You are not a burden to me. You are my joy, a masterpiece formed by my love and created with purpose. When you stand upon the truth I have planted within your heart, the things that once caused you to tremble will gradually lose their power over you. There are storms I do not remove from your life immediately, because I want you to discover that true peace does not depend on whether the storm has ended or not. Remember the disciples upon the Sea of Galilee. The waves rose so violently that they believed they would perish. Yet I was still there with them, and with only a single word from me, the raging sea became still. The same is true for you. My beloved child, perhaps there are still unstable things surrounding you right now, but if I am within the boat of your life, you do not need to live in panic. I never promised you a life without trials, but I did promise that no trial would ever exceed the grace I would provide for you. The things that once exhausted you will gradually become new strength when you look back through the eyes of faith. Some wounds from yesterday will become wisdom for tomorrow. Some losses that once caused you pain will become the doorway, leading you into something better. Epistle to the Romans 5:3-4 says that tribulation produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. I am using all of it to prepare you for something greater ahead. My beloved child, do not let your present limitations convince you that your life will always remain this way. Many things you call limitations are only the boundaries of your current understanding, not the limits of my power. Gideon once believed he was too insignificant to be used. Moses thought he lacked the ability to speak before the people. Jeremiah believed he was only a child. Yet I did not call them based on how they felt about themselves. I called them according to what I had already placed within them. And I see within you things you have not fully recognized yet. There are abilities I have quietly trained through seasons of hardship. There are strengths I have formed within you during nights when you thought you were merely enduring pain. Therefore, do not fear stepping through the new doors I open before you. When the time comes, you will realize you have been prepared far more than you imagined. Esther did not know that her years within the palace were preparing her for the moment she would help save an entire nation. David did not realize that the quiet days of shepherding sheep were shaping him for a throne. And you also cannot yet fully see everything I am forming through your life today. But trust this, my child, no season is ever meaningless in my hands. The dreams that truly come from me will always remain safe within my care. You do not need to live in constant tension trying to protect what I have promised you. If I am the one who gave it, then I am also the one who will preserve it. There may be delays, but there is never forgetfulness in heaven. Book of Psalms 138:8 says, "The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. What I have begun within you, I will complete at the appointed time." Keep your heart open instead of shrinking back in fear. Keep your eyes awake to recognize the signs I am placing along your path. And keep your steps steady even when you cannot yet see the entire road ahead. My beloved child, I am not asking you to know every answer today. I am only inviting you to continue walking in trust. Let my love become the shelter for your soul. Let my peace flow through your mind each day like fresh water. And when the world tries to make you doubt your value or your future, remember that the final voice over your life does not belong to fear, nor to people. It belongs to me. So today, continue forward with peace in your heart. Let your past rest within grace. Let your present rest within my guidance. And let your future rest within my hands. The good things I have promised are still being carefully preserved for you. No one can steal them from my hands. And when the perfect time arrives, you will realize that throughout this entire journey, I never stopped loving you, guiding you, and preparing the very best for your life. My beloved child, come close to me and allow your soul to find rest. Do not bring into my presence the heavy armor of striving and self-burdening any longer. You do not need to prove that you are strong enough, nor do you need to pretend that your heart has never grown weary. I did not call you to see how long you could endure alone. I called you so that you might be renewed within. My love. Gospel of Matthew 11:28 says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." My child, that rest is not an escape from life. It is the recovery of true strength in the middle of life's storms and uncertainties. Pause for a moment now and listen to the rhythm of peace I am placing within your heart. You do not need to understand everything in order to rest. A child does not need to know how his father is managing every burden in order to sleep peacefully in his arms. And the same is true for you. When you place into my hands the worries that still have no answers, the burdens you do not know how to carry, you are allowing my love to accomplish what your own strength never could. Epistle to the Philippians 4:6-7 teaches you not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation to pray with thanksgiving. And the peace of God will guard your heart and mind. That peace does not come because every problem disappears immediately. It comes because you know the one holding your life has never lost control. My beloved child, do not mistake the pauses within your journey for failure. The world often convinces you that if you are not constantly moving forward at great speed, then you must be falling behind. But I do not work through frantic haste. There are seasons when I allow you to slow down so that the deepest parts within you can be strengthened. Just as a builder must inspect and reinforce the foundation before adding higher levels, I am strengthening your soul for what lies ahead. If I gave you everything too early while your inner life remained fragile, those very blessings could crush you instead of lifting you. Remember Moses in the wilderness. 40 years appeared to be nothing more than quiet, meaningless days of shepherding sheep. Yet during that very season I was teaching him gentleness, patience, and dependence upon me. If Moses had entered his calling to deliver Israel while he was still impulsive and confident in his own strength, he would never have completed the journey. And the same is true for you. There are seasons when I hold you back, not because I am rejecting you, but because I am preparing you. There are silences that are not abandonment, but deep soil where the roots of your faith are being stretched farther downward. Perhaps today you do not understand why everything has not yet begun moving as you hoped. Perhaps you look around and feel that other people's lives are advancing while yours remains still. But, my child, I am still working, even in seasons when you cannot see anything happening. Gospel of John 5:17 says, "My Father worketh hitherto, and I work. I have never stopped acting for your good. While you see only one small portion in front of you, I am arranging a much greater picture behind the scenes. Pieces are being placed into their proper positions. Encounters are being prepared. Doors are being aligned with the perfect timing so that when they open, everything will fit together beautifully. My beloved child, there will come a day when you look back and realize that the waiting seasons which once confused you were actually the places where I was building the most precious things within you. Not only the strength to continue walking, but the depth of your soul itself. Not only wisdom to handle circumstances, but a peace that can no longer be easily shaken. Epistle to the Romans 5:3-4 says that tribulation produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. I am using even the difficult days to shape the person your future will need you to become. My love for you is not a distant idea or a temporary comfort. It is as real as the breath you are taking right now. It covers you like a warm garment during a cold night, holding you close, even in the moments when you feel most lost and alone. There were nights when you believed you had slipped from my arms. But my child, you have never fallen outside my care for even a single second. Book of Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. I do not stand far away watching you struggle. I step directly into the place of your pain and lift you with hands that never grow weary. Not one of your tears has been forgotten. I know every time you forced yourself to smile while your heart was quietly breaking inside. I know the prayers that were never spoken aloud, the sighs you hid from everyone else. And I will not allow any of it to become meaningless." Look at Joseph. The years of betrayal and abandonment appeared to be nothing more than a chain of pain without explanation. Yet in the end, I used all of it to save many lives. And the same is true for you. I am weaving every thread of light and darkness in your life into a masterpiece far more complete than you can presently imagine. There are dark threads whose purpose you cannot yet understand today. But one day you will see that they were the very details that made the beauty of the whole work stand out more clearly. So today, my beloved child, stop trying to carry everything by yourself. Rest your head upon my chest and find peace within my presence. Allow me to exchange your exhaustion for peace, your anxiety for hope, and your unanswered questions for the certainty that I am still holding every part of your life within my hands. You do not need to know the entire road ahead in order to continue walking. You only need to know that the one leading you loves you with a love that never changes. And then, when the new season finally opens before you, you will step forward, carrying not only the things you once prayed for, but also a soul that has grown deeper, a faith that has become stronger, and a heart that fully understands that even during the longest silences, I was always there, quietly loving you, quietly guiding you, and quietly preparing the very best for your life. My beloved child, never believe that you are merely a small soul wandering accidentally through this vast world. Before anyone else ever knew you, I already knew you. Before your first cry entered the earth, I had already called your name in love. You are not an accident, nor a meaningless life thrown into the current of time. Book of Psalms 139 says that, "I know when you sit down and when you rise up, and even before a word reaches your lips, I already understand it completely." My child, you are fully seen, not only the strong parts others recognize, but also the hidden corners you often conceal because you fear being hurt. And still, I love you with a love that does not change. There are moments when your mind tries to understand that love yet still feels it is too vast to comprehend. That is not strange, because my love cannot be confined within human understanding. Yet, even if you cannot fully explain it, you can still feel it during the moments when your soul finally becomes quiet enough to listen. When you stop chasing the noise of the world When you stop trying to prove your worth through success or approval, you will begin hearing my gentle whisper saying, "You are my beloved child." I do not want that truth to pass through your thoughts like a beautiful sentence and disappear. I want it to sink deeply into the very places where you once felt most alone. Because when a soul truly knows it is loved, it begins to walk differently. It no longer lives in constant fear of abandonment. My beloved child, every trial you pass through carries within it an opportunity to know me more deeply. I know there are seasons when you feel as though you are walking through fog, unable to understand what is happening, unable to see a way forward or find an answer. Yet it is often within those unclear places that I perform my deepest work. Remember David while he was still tending sheep in the fields. No one saw him during those quiet years. Yet it was in that wilderness place that I was teaching him courage, trust, and the gentle heart of a shepherd. Later, when he stood before Goliath, his strength was not created in the moment of battle itself. It had already been formed during the unseen days when no one knew his name. The same is true for you, my beloved child. There are things I am shaping within you through the very seasons you believe you are merely surviving. I do not delight in your pain, but I rejoice when, in the midst of it, your heart becomes gentler instead of harder. I rejoice when you learn humility instead of pride. I rejoice when you begin seeking me more deeply instead of searching only for immediate solutions. Success in my eyes is not measured by how much you achieve, but by how much your soul begins to resemble mine. Epistle to the Galatians 5:22 speaks of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. That is the beauty I am cultivating within you, my child. I want to ask you something very gently. Are you willing to believe that my timing is perfect? Can you trust that even the doors which closed before you still carried within them the protection and wisdom of my love? I know there were moments when you wept because the things you longed for did not unfold in the way you desired. But look at Joseph. If the door of his father's house had never closed behind him, he would never have stepped into the position where he could save countless lives. If Ruth had never passed through loss, she would never have met Boaz or entered into the greater plan prepared for her life. There are things you call losses today that one day you will call guidance. When you truly believe that I am holding every step of your life, your heart will begin to rest even before you can see the entire picture. Book of Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding." I do not require you to understand everything before you believe. I simply invite you to place your hand within mine and continue walking day by day. There are turns in the road you do not understand now, but later you will realize they protected you from paths that were never meant for you. My beloved child, everything I do flows from love. I am not a God who delights in watching you suffer and then calls it a lesson. My heart is always turned toward life, healing, and hope for you. Book of Jeremiah 29:11 declares that the thoughts I think toward you are thoughts of peace and not of evil. Even when I allow you to pass through seasons of testing, my final purpose is still to lead you into a place that is broader, freer, and filled with greater light. A potter presses the clay through the pressure of his hands and the heat of the furnace not to destroy it, but to shape a vessel capable of holding something precious within. I know there are moments when you grow weary of waiting. There are times when you wonder whether your prayers are truly being heard. But my child, not one cry of yours falls to the ground without me gathering it. Some seeds require time in darkness before they rise through the soil. If you dig them up too early simply because you cannot yet see growth, you will miss the harvest quietly forming beneath the surface. Continue trusting. Continue staying close to me. The work I am doing in your life is not finished yet, and there will come a day when you look back and realize that even the most confusing seasons were still covered by my gentle care. You will see what I protected you from, whom I led you toward, and which doors I opened at exactly the right moment. You will understand that my love not only comforted you in your pain, but also guided you into a life far greater and more beautiful than anything you once imagined possible. So today, my beloved child, let your heart rest in this truth. You are deeply loved, fully known, and guided by a God who never makes mistakes. Continue walking forward with gentleness and trust. Whether the skies over your journey are filled with sunshine or rain today, my hand is still there, never leaving you for even a single moment. And the future ahead, though you cannot yet fully see it, is still being held safely within the light of hope and a love that never runs dry. My beloved child, I have prepared for your life things greater than your eyes have seen and greater than your heart has dared to imagine. But in order for you to fully step into what I have prepared, there is an inner door within you that must first be opened. It is not the door of talent, status, or personal strength, but the door of surrender and unity with my heart. I do not only want you to receive blessings from my hand, I want your heart to learn how to beat in rhythm with mine. For when your soul becomes aligned with my presence, your steps will no longer be guided by fear or old wounds, but by peace and truth. My child, this will be difficult if your hands are still tightly holding on to the past. There are pains you have carried for so long that they have begun to feel like part of who you are. There are memories that still cause your heart to shrink whenever you think about them. There are words that once wounded you that continue echoing in your mind like invisible chains. And there are silent fears that make you cautious before love, before hope, and even before the future I am opening before you. But today I speak gently to you. You no longer need to live as someone bound by what has already passed. Book of Isaiah 43:18-19 says, "Remember ye not the former things, behold, I will do a new thing." My beloved child, I am not asking you to deny what you have gone through. I know those tears were real. I know those wounds once cut deeply. But I do not want you building your home forever in the land of sorrow. The past may be one chapter within the story of your life, but it is not the final definition of who you are. What I speak over you is greater than anything others have done to you. Look at the woman who had been bent over for 18 years. She had carried that burden for so long that perhaps even she believed her life would always remain that way. Yet with only one word from me, the chains broke and she stood upright for the first time in many years. The same is true for you. There are burdens you have carried so long that they seem natural to your life now. But, my child, what once bound you no longer has authority when you lay it down at my feet. Release the things I never intended for you to carry forever. Release the bitterness that has made your heart heavy. Release the fear that you will be hurt again if you dare to open your heart once more. Release the guilt that whispers you are unworthy of being loved or beginning again. I do not want you stepping into your future with hands still filled with the broken fragments of yesterday. I want your hands free enough to receive the new things I am placing before you. Gospel of Matthew 11:29 says, "Take my yoke upon you, and ye shall find rest unto your souls." My yoke is not a burden meant to crush you. It is a holy exchange in which I take away what has been exhausting your soul and replace it with the peace of heaven. When you hand me your painful memories, I will plant new hope within them. When you lay down your fears, I will pour gentle courage into your heart. When you release your doubts, I will give you new eyes to see your future through faith instead of despair. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you fear that if you let go of the past, you will lose a part of yourself. But in truth, it is through letting go that you begin to rediscover the person I originally created you to be. A soul bound by old wounds will always walk heavily through life. But when healing comes, your eyes will shine more brightly. Your heart will open more freely, and your steps will grow lighter. I do not want you merely to survive this life, I want you to live in freedom. Remember Joseph. He had every reason to live in bitterness after betrayal and abandonment. Yet, if he had held tightly to resentment, he would never have stepped into the greater purpose I had prepared for him. It was forgiveness and surrender that allowed him to become a bridge through which many lives were saved. And the same is true for you. I am preparing for you a journey far greater than the wounds you have experienced. But in order to enter it, you must allow me to heal the deepest places within your heart. And now, my beloved child, as your soul begins to grow quiet within my presence, do not try to search for prayers that sound beautiful or perfect. I do not need elegance from your lips. I desire only the honesty of your heart. Let your prayer flow like water rising from the deepest part of your soul. Speak to me about the things you fear, the things that still hurt, the things you do not yet understand. I never grow weary of listening to you. Loving Father, I come before you carrying all the things I have hidden for far too long. There are pains I still do not know how to lay down, memories that still ache every time they return to my mind. But today, I no longer want to live bound by them. Please touch the deepest places within me that no one else has ever truly seen. Remove every bitterness, every fear, and every voice that causes me to doubt my worth. Teach me how to rest within your love instead of within the anxieties of this world. Make my heart soft again so that I may love, trust, and hope once more. Father, I place my future into your hands. Even though I cannot yet see the entire road ahead, I trust that you are guiding every step. Help me release the past so that I may open my heart to receive the new things you are preparing for me. Let your peace become greater than every noise within my mind, and let my life become a testimony that your love truly can heal, restore, and renew all things. My beloved child, I have heard every word flowing from your heart, and even now, in this very moment, as you choose to open yourself before me, healing has already begun. Not tomorrow, not when everything finally becomes perfect, but right now, in the very moment you allow me to enter the place you once tried hardest to hide. Rest in that truth, for I am here. I have always been here, and I will never leave you as you walk into the freedom I prepared for you long ago.